So you want to become a WWE superstar? Today, I'm giving you a complete breakdown of 4 critical steps you'll have to take for that dream to come true. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It. And throughout my career, I've been fortunate to work in front of the camera as a professional wrestler, commentator, ring announcer, and referee. And I've worked behind the scenes too, as a promoter, booker, agent, coach, and consultant. Here at Till We Make It, I make videos for wrestlers at every stage of their journey. From the rookies just starting out to when they're deep in the thick of things, and for veterans looking for challenges later on in their career. And if you're passionate about professional wrestling and you're never done learning all about the craft, consider subscribing to my channel right now and enable notifications so you find out every single time I publish. Today, we're going to take a lot of time to go over 4 really critical steps on your path to becoming a WWE superstar. While there are always some variables on the path to becoming a WWE superstar, these 4 things are constant. We're going to talk about the preparation, the application, the process, and the tryout itself. And I'll make sure there are chapter breaks down below in case you are taking notes and you want to be able to refer back to one of these really critical sections at a later time. So without further ado, let's get to work getting you prepared. There are 3 key areas we're going to focus on in the preparation, and they are your physical appearance, your athletic condition, and your public speaking skills. You will need to cultivate a telegenic appearance. And if this term is new to you, it is one you're going to need to learn if you ever expect to work in front of television cameras. The term telegenic appearance means you have a manner and appearance that is appealing on television screens. And telegenic appearance is a key criteria for being hired for any entertainment company that produces television. And the WWE produces a lot. They make 3 hours of the red one and 2 hours of the blue one, plus there's the yellow one and the purple one and probably some other ones too. It's a lot. So you'll need to work on your physique. And if you need some examples, look at the WWE roster or look at the NXT roster. These are all people that the company hired. And what do you notice? They prefer a bodybuilder's physique. Why is this? Because the company's chairman and CEO, Vince McMahon, is a bodybuilder himself, and he's been fascinated by it since he was a teenager. That lifestyle has heavily influenced his opinion of what athletes should look like, and has since he bought the WWF from his father back in 1982. When I discuss this exact topic at my seminars, I am often met with comments like this. I don't need to get in shape like a Cesaro or a Lacey Evans because there's this other huge star that works for the WWE, and they don't have a very impressive physique. It is clear what the company's preference is. Your best chance for getting noticed and being one of the few to be considered is to do everything in your power to cultivate an appearance that matches the majority of WWE hirees. What is going to give you the most appeal if the final decision about offering you a contract to become a WWE superstar comes down to Vince McMahon, a bodybuilding enthusiast, or Triple H, another bodybuilding enthusiast? My recommendation to you would be this. You want to make sure that you show up to your tryout in great physical condition, looking well-groomed, and in good health. If you've always got dark circles under your eyes, well, I bet there's an eye cream that can solve that. Are you typically pale as a ghost? Maybe grab some sunlight before your tryout. At your WWE audition, you will spend time in their gym working out. So you don't just need to cultivate a cosmetically appealing physique. You will need to do actual strength and cardiovascular conditioning in preparation for your audition. You will have to demonstrate your ability to do a rigorous workout. And the cardio drills that make up the tryout are designed to exhaust the entire group. So the more preparation you do in advance, the more likely you will be standing tall and smiling widely while everyone else is collapsed in a sweaty heap on the floor. If you survive long enough at the audition, you may be asked to cut an in-character promo 30 to 60 seconds in length. This means you will stand up in front of a group of people who are all competing for the same job you are, and a panel of WWE coaches as well. And you'll have to deliver with confidence and charisma. This is a public speaking skill first and foremost. It's about character work second. And if you have a fear of public speaking, that's something you need to conquer before this moment arrives. You will also need to be able to take direction. What does that mean? Well, you might memorize a great 30-second promo and practice it thousands of times before your audition. And if you last long enough and you stand up and deliver it, as soon as you are done, one coach might ask you to cut the same promo again, but this time to color it with a different emotion. You might cut a promo that is serious, and then you might be directed to do it again, but with more humor. You'll need to be adaptable enough that you can take direction, turn around, and deliver. Being able to take that input from a coach, turn around, and modify what you're doing is often referred to as coachability. These are the 3 essential areas where you must prepare and develop before even considering applying for your WWE tryout. And you might have noticed a curious omission from my list. Did you catch that? At no point did we mention having pro wrestling experience. Why is that? Well, because the WWE's Performance Center is the most state-of-the-art facility for training. They have the most robust faculty of coaches of any pro wrestling school on earth, with more rings, more square footage, more equipment, and more resources than anywhere else. Given this, they are very confident they can take any candidate and turn them into a WWE superstar. And they've also got the track record to back it up. About 80% of current WWE superstars came through their developmental system. Now that the preparation work is done, let's move on to the application. When you are ready, you're going to navigate to WWEPerformanceCenter.com. Take a look in that upper right corner. See the link that says Tryout? You're going to click it. And now, let's walk through 4 important pieces of the application. As you make your way through this process, you're going to notice you will need to submit 3 photos with your application. They are a headshot, a head-to-toe shot, and a third photo of your choice. Keep in mind, you are competing for a spot at a tryout against thousands of potential applicants. These applicants include professional athletes, stars from the entertainment world, models, and more. Do you want to put your bathroom selfie up against the pro headshot of a swimsuit model? The answer is no, you do not. Get a professional headshot taken. You will also need a head-to-toe shot that shows your entire body. And although the website does not state this implicitly, I am telling you, this is an opportunity to showcase your physique. That's what they want to see in this photograph. The people who sift through these applications are not interested in a head-to-toe photo of you in a winter parka with snow boots on. So get your pump on first, get those veins going a bit, and think fitness magazine cover shoot. The third photo could be an action shot. So, if you're an active pro wrestler, this is a great opportunity to give them a glimpse into what you can do. If you have nothing like that, choose a photo that showcases your upbeat and positive attitude. A photo of someone with a glowing smile beats any photo of someone looking miserable. With good reason. The people that oversee the Performance Center tryouts want to preserve the positive morale around their training center. They have a supportive learning environment there that they all worked hard to cultivate. Why would they want to jeopardize that training culture with someone that looks like a sourpuss or a negative Nancy? They wouldn't, and they don't. During the application process, you're going to be asked questions like, do you have any athletic experience, a military background, or prior wrestling experience? And my advice to you would be to answer all of these questions with complete honesty. Do not exaggerate your credentials. And during the process, you'll be asked to name the airport closest to you. And this means major airport, not regional airport. So if your neighbor happens to have some farmland that doubles as an airstrip, that is not what they are talking about. They are asking for the closest major airport because if you are selected for the tryout, that information will be used to book your flight to Orlando. One final thing you will definitely be asked about during this process that we must talk about for a moment is your social media. The WWE makes no secret about how much value they place on social media. They are driving their audience to platforms like Twitter on every single program they produce. So, if you have problematic social media posts, maybe you wrote something which was once appropriate, but by today's social norms is no longer considered appropriate, my advice to you would be to scrub these accounts clean or delete them and start over with a clean slate. Even if you do not link to them during the application process, the WWE's team will find them, I assure you. Your social media conduct is a key determinant to candidacy with the WWE. So once you've completely and truthfully filled out the entire application and you've uploaded those 3 photos as well, you are ready to send off your application. Click Submit Your Response down at the very bottom of the page, and then let the waiting begin. Now I want to offer you a complete breakdown of the process which follows the submission of your application. Now, just based on the numbers, this website receives hundreds of applications every single week. It is likely the WWE will take no interest, but it's also possible that they will. And if so, then the screening process for an upcoming tryout camp will begin. You'll know if you've been selected because you will get an invitation from the WWE. And in my opinion, this is an invitation you must accept. You might get an invitation, and it happens to fall on a date that you have plans. Maybe it's your wedding anniversary. Maybe it's your Nana's 90th birthday. Whatever it is, I'm telling you, it kinda doesn't matter. While this is not an absolute, if you decline the WWE's invitation, I think your journey is over right then and there. There's a solid reason why so many WWE superstars talk about the sacrifices they make to do what they do. That is part of the lifestyle. One of my trainees, who is a current WWE superstar, gets home to see his mom maybe once a year, and some years, not at all. Here's a thick slice of reality. If you think the WWE talent office is going to understand that you want to be at Nana's 90th birthday party instead of at the tryout camp, while I am sure they will be very polite and professional in that correspondence, I am equally sure that you just blew your chance. In most cases, you will have about 90 days advance notice of your tryout camp. Use those 90 days to get yourself into even better physical and athletic condition so that when you show up, you look even more impressive than you did in the photos that accompanied your application. In the period that follows you accepting your invitation, you will have to get some WWE medical forms completed by your primary care physician. This could include things like an EKG and blood work. All of the medical forms will need to be completed well in advance of your audition. If you are told the forms have to be finished and sent back at least 30 days prior, make sure you beat that deadline. Take no chances here. Such a small minority of people ever get the opportunity to audition for the WWE. You do not want your chance to be taken away because of a bureaucratic technicality like the mail took an extra day to be delivered. I want you to know, even if you submit all the forms on time, it is possible something in your medical history could eliminate you from candidacy. And if while doing their research about you, something problematic from your social media accounts turns up, it is also possible that could eliminate you from candidacy. In these instances, your invitation to the tryout could be revoked. As the day for your tryout draws nearer, you will coordinate with the polished pros in WWE's logistics department to get all of your travel sorted. Now, While the WWE does conduct auditions in other countries, the majority of them happen at their own facility in Florida, meaning you will be traveling to Orlando International Airport. This is the same travel hub that handles the lion's share of Disney resort tourists. The hotels that the WWE favors are a 20 to 30 minute drive from the Orlando airport. You'll also be given advance instructions about what to wear to the tryout and what to bring with you. For example, you will be told that during the tryout, you cannot wear a shirt with open armpits, like a tank top, for example. Follow these instructions fastidiously. Your attention to detail could be the difference between making it through the camp or being rejected. When I share this info with someone I am preparing for their WWE tryout, the pushback I sometimes hear is this: why would something so trivial, like showing up in a tank top, even matter? And I'll offer you one insight into exactly this. When you try out, you might be one of 60 or one of 80 people at that camp. From that group, maybe 4 people will actually get hired. Maybe it's 6 people from your group. But just considering those percentages, the odds are not in your favor during this process. The job of the coaches or the panelists who decide who's going to get a contract offer and who gets sent away never to be heard from again is to whittle down that pool of 60 or 80 candidates as fast as possible. What could thin that herd? Well, one obvious thing would be a candidate who can't follow simple instructions. So if you are told no shirts with open armpits, but turn up in a tank top anyway, that strikes me as someone who can't follow simple instructions, and maybe that's how the pool of candidates goes from 80 down to 79. If you were told to be dressed and on the floor of the Performance Center, ready to work out at 8 a.m. sharp, and the big digital clock reads 8:01 a.m. when you waltz out, maybe that's how the pool of candidates goes from 60 down to 59. I personally know examples of both those things ending someone's chances with the WWE. Don't let that be your fate too. And up fourth, it's the tryout itself. But before we move on, if you've been enjoying this video and you'd like more of the educational multimedia I make for professional wrestlers, things like exclusive videos, podcasts, essays, book excerpts, and unreleased material you can't get anywhere else, consider joining my community over on Patreon, a link to which will be down below, and probably another one will pop up toward the end of this video. So it's finally here! Congratulations! You're on your way to your WWE tryout. Get ready to spend the entire weekend with WWE coaches, their medical team, and talent officers, all of which is designed to push you to your limits. If you reside in North America, that weekend is going to be held at the Performance Center in the Azalea Park subsection of Orlando, Florida. Tryout camps also happen all around the world. In recent years, they've been held in Germany, Chile, India, China, and other countries too. The Performance Center is a gorgeous facility, staffed by really friendly people who are all a little overworked. Be extra courteous when interacting with them all, even the security guard at the door. Spend your time there smiling so much your face hurts by the end of each day. Bring an upbeat, positive attitude to the tryout and be supportive of others as they try out. It is considered a valuable trait to be a good team player. So if you happen to breeze through one of the drills, but you observe someone else who is struggling with that drill, don't be afraid to encourage them. A little bit of that goes a long way at the Performance Center. In the first phase of your experience, you will undergo a rigorous physical examination with the WWE's medical team. And you know what's true of them? They're all wonderful people too. Be friendly and respectful with everyone in the medical bay, but always keep in mind, they're kind of overworked. Everybody there's really busy. If you make their day easier, they'll make yours easier. And provided this goes well, you'll eventually work out in the Performance Center's gym under their brilliant strength and conditioning coach, Sean Hayes, and then you'll have a chance to get in a WWE ring. You will undergo a boot camp's worth of calisthenic exercises and drills designed to make most people drop. That's how a group of 60 gets whittled down to 20 really quickly. You will do some ring fundamentals like tumbling exercises, and some of these exercises might be led by faces you recognize from NXT. During all of this, you will be observed by a panel composed mainly of Performance Center coaches. And having been lucky enough to work with virtually all of them, I can tell you this. Every coach at the Performance Center is an impassioned veteran with a wealth of knowledge to share. Every single one of the Performance Center coaches is worthy of your respect, even if you are not overly familiar with their entire body of work. You will almost certainly see these 5 coaches. Matt Bloom, the head trainer of the Performance Center, who enjoyed an in-ring career under names like Albert, A-Train, Giant Bernard, and Lord Tensai. Coach Bloom has a great eye for detail, and he doesn't miss a trick. Sarah Amato, the assistant head trainer of the Performance Center, who enjoyed an in-ring career under the name Sarah Del Rey. She is a graduate of my Wrestle Factory, and before departing for the WWE, also coached for me. The thing I admire most about Coach Sarah is her work ethic, and every time I see her, it only reaffirms the high regard I hold her in. Terry Taylor, who's probably best known to WWE fans as the Red Rooster during the Hulkamania boom of the 80s. But the Rooster barely scratches the surface of Coach Taylor's astonishing career that started back in 1979. It's not an exaggeration to say, Coach Taylor has worked everywhere and knows everyone in pro wrestling. With more than 40 years of experience in the industry, he is an invaluable wealth of insight and wisdom. Robbie Brookside, who enjoyed an in-ring career under the name Robbie Brookside. Coach Brookside came up during the World of Sport era of British wrestling and made frequent tours of Japan during his active wrestling career. I can be a little bit snobbish when it comes to evaluating people's technical wrestling acumen, and I can tell you with all due snobbishness, Robbie Brookside is one of the very finest to ever lace up boots. And Norman Smiley, who not only enjoyed fame in WCW, but in Japan's UWF group and in Mexico's CMLL, where he was heavyweight champion under the name Black Magic. He has been training talent for the WWE for more than 10 years, even predating the launch of NXT. Not only is Coach Norman the most patient pro wrestling coach I've ever observed personally, between the ropes, he is smooth as silk. And like we alluded to, your tryout will probably see you asked to cut a promo in front of the group. You might have the option to talk about whatever you like, or you may be given prompts, such as being given a specific opponent to talk about, or bullet points you will be expected to include. If you have some pro wrestling experience, you may be given the chance to do a short audition match, usually of 5 minutes duration, but there is no guarantee that will happen. One last important note for you about the tryout process. It's certainly possible that your tryout could be overseen by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, William Regal, or some other member of the WWE team who is well known or possesses legendary status within the industry. But no matter what or who, treat these people not as if you are a fawning fan, but as a potential employee of theirs in the future. Regarding them as a superstar is not the right move here. Treat them as if they are your boss. And just like that, your tryout will be over. And then you head back to the airport, fly home, and the waiting period begins once again. And the post-audition waiting can be really tough, believe me, I know. So tough, in fact, I made a video about exactly that. You already know the reality of the numbers. About 5 to 10% of the group that tried out with you will get a positive response, and the rest will not. Those that do get selected might be asked to come back for a second look, and that could mean another tryout, or it could mean they are put through a series of interviews with other members of the WWE team, and this is likely to include Canyon Seaman, the Senior Director of Talent Development. If you are offered a WWE contract, you will be asked to relocate to the greater Orlando area, and you will report daily to the Performance Center. It will become your full-time job as a part of the NXT roster to train and to attend NXT live events, where you will help serve as part of the crew while learning the ins and outs of being a WWE superstar. As you advance, you'll be asked to perform on untelevised NXT events, eventually graduating to televised NXT events, and you might even be selected to appear on one of their pay-per-views, the NXT TakeOver events. As you continue to climb the ladder, you may move from the NXT developmental circuit up to the main WWE roster, where you could be assigned to a brand like Raw or to SmackDown Live. For some, this process takes months, and for others, it takes years. Along the way, you may be slowed down by injury and recovery times, and diverted by changes to your character or public-facing persona. All of this is part of the journey to becoming a WWE superstar. Well, there you have it, a thorough and detailed breakdown of how to become a WWE superstar. If you learned something in today's video, drop me one of these on your way out the door. You may know this about me. I happen to think people who are always on a continuous quest for more knowledge, who are never content with what they know now, but always crave more, bring an awesome attitude to the world of professional wrestling. And that's how I know you are awesome. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So you keep on being awesome, and I will keep on making the videos. Together, we will keep on faking it.